Hey, this is Flo, and in this video I'm going to show you my top tools to use when developing for iOS or with Swift. Okay, so JSON placeholder. You've probably already seen this one in a couple of my videos. JSON placeholder is a great API endpoint to just test your app and try new implementations. This is the website, and there are a couple of different routes. You can see all of them here. So there's a route for posts, comments, albums, photos, to-dos, and users, and all of them contain dummy data. So for example, let's go to the users route, and you could just send a URL request to this URL, and then you would just get back an array of some dummy users. And this is actually really helpful when trying to implement some API stuff where you don't yet have your API endpoint available. So you can just use the JSON placeholder API. Next up is RESTed, which is a client for HTTP requests, where you can send HTTP requests to some server endpoint. So for example, let's use the JSON placeholder that I just showed you, and let's select GET as our HTTP type, and then just either hit enter or press the send request button, and then you will get the response header and the response body here. Of course, on the left hand side you can also add header fields and parameter fields and encode them and so on. So there are a bunch of settings, and you can use this to test some API endpoints and, for example, to also test some backends that you have written yourself, for example, using Node.js or Vapor for Swift or whatever it may be. So RESTed is my go-to tool. There's definitely a bunch of other tools, but RESTed is just the one that I use. You can also save requests in RESTed, which I find very, very helpful. So you could, for example, save a request to fetch all users from an endpoint, and then save one request to add a new user and so on, and then you can just reopen the old request when you have changed something in your API. Okay, let's say that you now have gotten your JSON from an API endpoint, or somebody just sent you the raw JSON and you want to work with it in Swift. Then there's this cool free tool called Ducky, where you can just paste in some JSON and it will automatically generate a Swift struct for you. You can see the result down here, and then on the right hand side you can specify a name. So let's call this one user, and it automatically decodes everything, makes the new struct codable. There are a bunch of different settings on the right hand side, but honestly I've never used any of these settings. I always just paste in the JSON, change the model name on the right hand side, and then I hit the copy button and I'm done with that. But Ducky really saves you a lot of time when working with an API that you don't know, which returns some kind of JSON or which format you don't know. The next tool can be used inside of Xcode and as a standalone app. And there are a couple of features that you can use inside of Xcode by itself. And then there's an endless amount of things you can do with the SourceryPro standalone app. SourceryPro allows you to create your own custom code generation. If you have a sample code like this, struct foo and class boo, and then you select those in Xcode and run this template inside of Xcode, then it will automatically generate what's shown here on the right hand side. So in this case, this is just a generic Firebase service that I wrote some time ago, and I actually have a GitHub repo where I'm putting all of my SourceryPro templates, but right now there's just 2 of them. But SourceryPro can make it really easy for you to not have to write code for every single project. So in this case, this is just a very generic Firebase service that fetches some type that I had to select first, and then generates all of these static functions, in this case using async and await. But of course you can write any template that you want, because there are actually a bunch of cool features. If you're interested in SourceryPro in particular, just leave a comment down below and I might make another video in detail on how to actually make your own templates for SourceryPro. Alright, the next app is actually pretty new and it's called Bakery. You can also grab it for free, I think. And Bakery has 3 main features. The first feature is to create placeholder app icons. So this UI is rather intuitive, I would say. You can first of all select the background color. Let's choose this reddish color. And then on the right hand side, you can either choose an SF symbol, like the paper plane here, or choose an emoji. And then you can just hit generate icons. And this little overlay here is generated, and you can drag and drop that into your Xcode assets folder, and you will automatically have the app icon for all of the sizes that you need. Please bear in mind that Apple does not allow the usage of SF symbols in your real app icons, so these are really just for debugging. But you can also add some beta banners or a dev banner or whatever to the icon, just so you don't have the same app icon for every single project that you've ever installed on your phone. The second feature is custom colors, so you can generate colors here that you can use everywhere inside of Bakery, for example for the app icon, and also for one of my favorite features, which is the screenshot generator. So first of all, you select one device type. I usually choose the flat device because it has the device frame. And then you can use some test screenshots or drag and drop your own screenshots in here and easily create the screenshots for your App Store Connect page. Of course, you can find links to all of these awesome apps and websites and tools in general in the video description. There are a bunch of other tools that I usually use, but these are the most important apps and websites that I use for almost any project. Alright, I hope that you enjoyed it. If you did, please leave a like on the video, consider subscribing, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.